two watches in the Rolex Submariner style. On the left we have the Gigandet for 199 euro, and on the right we have the Steinhart for 395 euro. In this video I will show you the differences, and I'm going to tell you which one I think is the better watch and the better value for money. Hello and welcome to Watch Maxie's Watch Videos. My name is Axel and I'm glad to have you on the show. That you are watching this video is a strong indicator that you do like the Rolex Submariner style. However, you're also open for watches in the same or similar design which just cost a fraction of the original. Because that's exactly my topic for today. I'm going to compare two watches in the Rolex Submariner style, which cost just a fraction of the original. On the one hand, we have the Steinhart Ocean One 39, and on the other hand, we have the Gigandet Seaground. Both watches, which cost below 500 euro, look pretty similar. However, there are some decent differences in detail, and I will present it in this video. Before we do that, let me just drop one remark. If you like this kind of videos, if you like to support my channel, you can subscribe to my channel right below the video or in the lower right corner, and if you activate the bell, you won't miss any of my future videos. And now let's directly move to the watches. The Gigandet, as mentioned, has a diameter of 43 millimeter, while the Steinhart has a diameter of 39. So which means the Gigandet is bigger and the Steinhart is smaller compared to the Rolex Submariner. Within the Gigandet we have as a movement an NH35, which actually is an entry-level Seiko movement, and the Steinhart has an ETA 2824-2 or a Sellita SW200, depending on availability. I don't like the entry-level Seiko movements too much. It's just my personal experience with those movements, so for me this point clearly goes to the Steinhart. The Steinhart is also available in a 42 millimeter version, and where this makes a difference, I'm going to mention that in the video. So we have the diameter of the watches. The Gigandet has a thickness of 15 millimeter, while the Steinhart only has 13 millimeter, which makes it the slimmer and for me more comfortable watch. The 42 millimeter version also only has a thickness of 13 millimeter. The Steinhart 39 millimeter has a lug width of 20 millimeter. The Gigandet has 22. If we move to the 42 millimeter model of Steinhart, we also have a lug width of 22. The Gigandet weighs on the bracelet 195 grams. The Steinhart, the 39 millimeter Steinhart, is 170. The 42 millimeter version has 205 grams, which has a good reason, which I'm going to show you in the video. So given the size and the lug width and the weight, there isn't much of a difference. However, the Steinhart is slimmer, is not as thick as the Gigandet, which makes it for me the more comfortable watch. Although I do like the case shape of the Gigandet more. This case shape is closer to the original Rolex Submariner with the bent down horns and the swing here. So this is for me the nicer case shape, but it's thicker. The case shape of the Steinhart is pretty slim, and I don't like this design too much, but it's more comfortable to wear. So overall, for me, the point here goes to the Steinhart. Both watches have a water resistance of 300 meter, so it's a draw here. The Steinhart comes with a sapphire crystal AR coated and a Cyclops. The Gigandet has, according to the details on their website, a sapphire coated mineral crystal. They mention also a Cyclops. I don't know whether this has been removed by the first owner or if you have an option to order it without a Cyclops. I don't know. But either way, I prefer sapphire over mineral crystal, so the point goes to the Steinhart. While both watches are used in pre-owned watches, there are certain signs of use, but the big advantage is it has been used, so we can see some differences which may only become obvious after a certain time of usage. The Steinhart has as lume color the BGW9. According to my own experience, it's sufficiently bright and sufficiently long-lasting to make the watch readable all night. The Gigandet only mentions that hands and indices are covered with luminous color. I would expect it to last as long as the Steinhart. The power of the lume I'm going to show you in a night shot later in this video. Let's have a closer look at the watches, and let's start with the crown and crown protection. Here we have the crown of the Gigandet, and you can see the crown is not too big, doesn't stand out of the crown protection. It's not a very big crown, and the crown protection has a clearly identifiable angle here, and it's pretty slim at the top. So I don't like the shape and form of the crown and crown protection too much, and the crown is pretty small and not very handy if you have gloves on. How does the crown of the Steinhart look like? It's a signed crown, and the crown is a little bit bigger, stands out a little bit. The crown protection is nicely done with a swing out of the case, and you can grip it with gloves, you can operate it with gloves. So for me, the point regarding crown and crown protection goes to the Steinhart. Looking at the bezel, both are aluminium bezels, but from a core design perspective, I personally do like the Steinhart more, since we have a little bit wider metal rings at the outer and inner circle, which gives a really nice and shiny effect. And well, for me, it really upgrades the Steinhart, while the Gigandet looks a little bit simpler and plainer, but this is just a personal anticipation of the design. More important for me is the grip, and the grip of the Gigandet is with gloves on really slippy, while the Steinhart is slippy as well, but can be operated easier. And if you have a closer look at the edges of the bezel, you see that the Gigandet doesn't have the deep notches here, and they are a little bit round, while the Steinhart has a more defined bezel edge. So in terms of operability and how you can use the bezel, the point for me clearly goes to the Steinhart. For me, always very interesting is how accurately do the end links fit to the case. And on the Gigandet, you can see that there is a certain play. And on the other side, it's even worse. You can see the end link really moves back and forth and has a lot of play. The Steinhart is accurately done, and it really fits and doesn't move too much. So in terms of end link fit and quality, the point for me goes to the Steinhart. Looking at the bracelet itself, I do like the change of brushed and polished parts of the Gigandet. It makes the watch look more expensive than it is. The Steinhart has a brushed bracelet only, however, the quality and accuracy of the brushing work is significantly better on the Steinhart. The brushed parts on the Gigandet are not as good as the Steinhart, so although I do like the change of brushed and polished with the Gigandet, I think the better bracelet is with the Steinhart. And this is exactly the same judgment I would make about the clasp. The Steinhart clasp is a solid clasp with 4 holes of fine adjustment, a solid folding mechanism, nicely done, it really fits, nothing stands over, not too big, not too fat, solidly done. Looking at the Gigandet, the clasp looks significantly different. The security folding mechanism is a bit fiddly. The whole clasp is not made from solid steel, it's a steel sheet. We have 3 holes for fine adjustment, and the overall clasp is by far not at the quality level of the Steinhart. You can even hear the quality difference, and for that I have to take off my headset and place the mic right here. And now I place the mic right here, and now I move the Steinhart, and now let's hear the Gigandet. I hope you could hear it. So this was the acoustic proof of the superior quality of the Steinhart clasp and bracelet compared to the Gigandet. Overall, the Steinhart costs twice as much as the Gigandet, 200 versus 400 euro. But for me, the Steinhart is at least 200 euro better than the Gigandet. So for me, the winner, both in terms of quality and value for money, is the Steinhart. And now let's close the comparison with a night shot. First, let's switch off video light number 1, then we switch off video light number 2, and we have on the left side the Gigandet and on the right side the Steinhart. Both watches are sufficiently bright at night. If you like the green over the blue, I think that's a question of personal taste. So during the night, both watches appear to be absolutely perfect in terms of readability and most certainly in terms of durability. Yeah, if you like this kind of video, subscribe to my channel, recommend my videos, and look forward to the next videos to come. Cheers, Axel!